What's going on, guys? I wanted to put a quick video together with some kicking drills that I've been doing. These drills are great and they will help you improve your Muay Thai kicks. Through years of training Muay Thai and teaching Muay Thai, one of the biggest issues I see with Muay Thai roundhouse kicks is the lack of rotation in the hip, or a person's inability to rotate the hip properly to land a solid roundhouse or a comfortable roundhouse. There's factors such as like hip mobility and flexibility. The issue is that a lot of people just focus on the flexibility and they don't think about the hip mobility. So a few of these drills are going to really focus on helping you improve your hip mobility. And there's also, in those movements or drills, there will be like some stretching. For me at this point in my training and my age, the speed and the power will come. I've been able to maintain that, but you can't maintain it or even establish it without comfort. If you are not comfortable with the kick and the way you rotate it and the way you whip it and the balance on the bottom leg, then your technique is off, and without proper technique, you can't throw accurately and comfortable with speed, and without technique and without speed, you have no power. And then the last drill that I'm gonna show you is not so much about the hip, it's just about the whip on the end, and that'll help generate a little bit of power on the end of your kick. It's what we call the dragon's tail, at least my coach called it the dragon's tail. He would always say to whip your dragon's tail. Okay, so I have these thruster benches, which I think are perfect for this. If you don't have this available, something like this, what you can use is a plyo box. You want a padded one, of course. So this is the large thruster bench, and it's the perfect height for my hips, okay? So I place my knee up on the bench. My foot is turned at the proper angle, okay? And then my hands are here, and I simulate a kick, okay? I push and extend to open my hip and stretch and pull that ball and socket. The mistake people make is when they're stretching their hamstrings and their quads and all that stuff, but they're not pulling the ball and socket, and that's where you get the mobility, the hip mobility to throw your kick or rotate your kick through. Extend my arm, again, proper technique. Shh. 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 Again, my bottom leg or foundational leg is in the proper position. Put my knee up on the bench, or for you, the plyo box, whatever you have available. Okay, upper body rotates properly. Again, you get your arm swing, the proper arm swing and extension. Extend the leg outward, pushing the hip forward. Okay. And extending, opening that hip, stretching that ball and socket. Okay, the next drill is, you could be on a wall anywhere, all right? I like to, just for balance, unless you're really good or you come from a traditional martial arts background and you can throw these really good side kicks just standing still, balancing on your bottom leg. I can't, so we use a wall. You put your hand here, okay, but when I place my hand here, I can only tip my head so far. I like to put my hand like this. Okay, and then just slow and controlled. Now this looks more traditional. I don't throw traditional side kicks, but it's just a good way to stretch your ball and socket or your hips out, and again, creating more mobility in your hips. And you're strengthening your legs. Nice and controlled. I'm not popping the kick out, okay? This is controlled. When you're doing these, man, it's a good stretch. Again, you're trying to loosen everything around here, specifically your ball and socket, so you can get good rotation through your hip for a strong roundhouse kick. The next drill is, now that when you kick up, you rotate it as if it's the back half or the back portion of a roundhouse kick. So I'm here, here. Now you may not have the hip mobility or flexibility to do that. It might look a little like this. You might struggle, but keep going. So you get the rotation in your hip for the roundhouse, okay? So the last drill, as I mentioned before, is about the end of the kick, or the dragon's tail, or the little whip on the end of your kick. Now in Muay Thai, we swing our kicks more like a bat, less like a snap. Snapping kicks are more for karate or taekwondo. And this drill is more for that snapping effect of a kick, but it can help with that last little bit of your kick to whip through. When you throw a roundhouse and your knee leads, there is a snap at the peak of your power after leading with your knee to get the full swing of your kick. So having the ability to get that little snap at the end and generate power can only improve your kick. This is a lower bench than the one before. Again, if you're using plyo boxes, just go lower on the plyo box. You want to have it about just above your knee. So we're here, and then you just snap, 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 snap. If you want to work your foundational leg as well, then you elevate, snap, 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 snap. And where that drill can also be effective is, it doesn't just work the snap. Honestly, I feel it in my hips. Leaning back, having to extend outward. I feel it in here. So it is doing the same things that the other drills are doing as well, as far as assisting me in my hip mobility to improve the rotation through my roundhouse kicks. All right, guys, so that's some drills that you can do to improve your roundhouse kick and increase your hip mobility to, again, to be comfortable so that you can apply the technique properly, and then you can add speed, and then you can get power. People neglect these accessory drills because they just want to haul off and hit pads and hit bags. And yes, you can improve your techniques and your power and all those things through those means. But there will always be these little things that will never quite get tuned up. So as you do these little accessory drills, you can really fine-tune these little minute details and sharpen your weapon overall. So don't neglect the accessory drills. Look at it this way. It's like a fighter who only spars and doesn't do any partner drills or strength training or bag work or pad work. You need all of those things to be good at what you do, to be effective in the fight, to try and be the best version of yourself in the martial art that you are training.